Hello, John Heaton here. Nah, just joking. It's Invisible Ray. Did you recognise me? Let's start again. Good evening, vinyl worshippers. Tonight, I will be discussing the Revolver album from 1966, and I shall be judging all the tracks worst to best. Revolver has been elevated far beyond its questionable achievements in the last 20 years. It is, at the very best, a tuning up session for Pepper. Compared to Rubber Soul or Help, we're starved for a good tune on this, in my opinion. I don't know why people always put Rubber Soul and Revolver together, because to me, Help and Rubber Soul are like partners, but Revolver is very much standalone. It doesn't make it a good thing by any means. When I started buying all the Beatles albums, Pepper was still the major album by the Beatles, and not the other ones never really got a mention. Revolver started getting #1 in everybody's fucking top 100 album lists. And this was mainly after this idiot from a band called Oasis. I mean, you either know them or you don't. They used to think they were the Beatles, but they were always on TV saying, Revolver's a great album. And as a result of their following, it sort of, it got into the psyche a little bit. And it is sort of wearing off a little bit now, but I still can't understand how anyone could say this is a better album than Rubber Soul. And it's certainly not a better album than Help. We're starved for a good tune on it. And it is an album of killer licks and catchy riffs, but it's severely lacking in depth aside from Eleanor Rigby.
Invisible Ray's tip of the day.
Either stereo or mono. The choice is yours.
Vinyl Nerd Plug.
Vinyl nerd is an amazing person, an unsung hero. In fact, do you know what? I don't even know if he's got his own channel, this guy.
Who is it?
It is Robert, who hangs out with TJR. Now, the best way I can describe Robert is you're going to have to watch TJR's videos, because he's always a special guest on TJR's ramblings. And I mean, when Robert gets going on his opinions and his taste in music, there's no stopping him. He's like the man, he knows everything. He kind of reminds me a little bit of, if you're a classically educated person like John Heaton, I could give you an example of Don Quixote, and Robert is kind of like the Sancho Panza. If you're not a classically educated person, a good example would be Hong Kong Phooey, and his cat, who always gets him out of trouble. This is what they're like. TJ, he's the big name, but Robert, he's sort of like, a special guest star. But he shouldn't be, because Robert is one of the great vinyl people of our time. And I think we should start a campaign to snub TJR and to big up Robert. Yeah, go Robert, go Robert. So I'm just going to show you a little clip of how he blows TJ right out of the water.
Him and Michael Jackson had met. Michael Jackson was a big fan of She Blinded Me with Science. But ultimately he recorded it. It was great. But what's unusual about this is that there's been such a renewed interest in Thomas Dolby because of his role in the development of sound.
Yeah, just altogether pointless.
Well, as you can see, I mean, Robert's a superstar. And I'm sure I've seen him before somewhere, though, years ago.
Always lemonade. I'm a secret lemonade drinker. Always lemonade. Always lemonade.
Oh, that'll be it, yeah. Now, the history of this, my personal history, is I got this in 1981, and it was only a week after I'd got Rubber Soul. And so this was £5.15. It was from Max Records. You know, I was getting the Beatles album per week by this point. And after Rubber Soul, I was very disappointed with the album. Like, nothing really packed a major punch for me. I mean, I was already familiar with Eleanor Rigby, Yellow Submarine, and because I had the rock and roll albums, I knew Got to Get You Into My Life and Taxman. So what was left, to me, it didn't really couple which I like, but nothing major. And there still isn't. It hasn't changed. Like I said, it's not the great album it's cranked up to be. It really isn't. And I can't see how anybody can give this preference over Pepper. It makes absolutely no sense to me. The only thing I could guess is that perhaps people had become too over-familiar with Pepper and they needed to make a different album. But like I said, it's like a big session of ideas that eventually led to Pepper. But don't think of these two albums together. Like I said, Revolver is on its own and Pepper's on its own. But Pepper's far superior. Anyway, should we get on with the tracks? Going to be some shocks in store for some people. So get your smelling salts ready, some of you, because I know that a lot of you tossers out there think this is the main album, and I totally disagree with it, as I've just explained.
Miss Keane, in tomorrow's News of the World, you say you lived 3,000 years ago. Is that true?
Yes, in ancient Egypt. I definitely think I've been reincarnated.
Returned to life after death?
Yes, that's right.
Don't miss Diane Keane's own amazing story of life after death in the News of the World tomorrow.
What's happened to Cresta? It's changed. Rimsky-Korsakov! Terrific! Wait till the guys hear about this. Rimsky-Korsakov! Terrific! News travels fast.
Try new Cresta in 4 terrific flavors.
It's still frothy, man.
Only the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate tastes like chocolate never tasted before. Only the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate tastes like chocolate never tasted before.
Right at the arse end of the album is, surprisingly enough, a George song. And no big surprise, I think you'd all agree with this, is called Love You Too. And although the Indian thing was fresh and original on the Norwegian Wood song, it was the only time that Indian shit actually works for me, and I'm sure a lot of people agree. I mean, George was by now totally head-fucked by acid and this perverse obsession with the subcontinent, and he treats us to one of the worst Beatles tracks ever. I mean, hate is too tame a word for this smelly heap of poo-poo.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
Making each day of the year, changing my life with a wave.
Here, there, and everywhere. This is second to bottom for me, and I know some of you out there in the vinyl community are aware that I can't stand this record. I think it was done for Jane Asher. If you don't know who Jane Asher is, she was Paul's girlfriend at the time. And McCartney had been living at her parents' house. Now, the Asher family were a sort of multi-talented, brainy, intellectual kind of family. It's been said before that Paul a bit of a social climber, you know, and he loved this sort of talented middle-class household, you know, the intellectual hub of wherever they were living, probably Belgravia or somewhere like that. I've been told that Macca was more obsessed with Jane's mother. You know, I think he just liked the idea of being in that house and being around the family, but I don't think he was too hung up on Jane Asher, to be honest with you. I mean, she's a plain woman, really. There's nothing special about her. I think he loved the social climbing aspect of it. There's a book in this McCartney living in the Asher's house. We won't see that until McCartney's dead for obvious reasons. I think, though, the song is horrible. Macca sings it in a flaky voice, with George and John adding nauseating backup to this hideously overrated tune. I mean, you remember the illustrated Beatles discography, or whatever it's called, by Tyler and Carr, and they couldn't stand this song, and I totally agree with them. It's overrated, it's crap. If I had to listen to it under pain of death, I would pick his Broad Street version, which has got the Gabriella String Quartet saving a trash can song.
Cause I'm the tax man. Yeah, I'm the tax man. Should 5% appear too small?
Taxman is another seriously overrated bunch of crap. Get over the repetitive guitar riff and you're left with a truly naff song. I really hate it. I do. I don't even want to talk about it. It's crap. And anybody that likes it out there, go fuck yourselves.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
I want to tell you, I feel hung up and I don't know why.
I want to tell you, this is awful. It's filler. There's no other way to talk about it. It's the third George song on the album, and they should never let him have 3 songs on it. They should, by the standard of his songs on here, they should not have allowed any of these fucking pile of craps on there. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. It's instantly forgotten. Instantly forgotten.
Dr. Robert, you're a new better man. He helps you to understand. He does everything.
I'm afraid to say we're still on bad territory. Dr. Robert. John is here proving that he can also do filler, and there's a story to the song, but I really can't be fucked to talk about it.
Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine.
Good day, sunshine. Doo-doo-doo. Good day, sunshine. I was singing this at school just after I got the album, and my teacher, my form teacher, he came and said, "That's a great song." He said, "One of their best." And then I said, "Yeah, I'm buying a Wings record." And he said, "Wings?" He said, "You like the greatest group on earth, and you getting that namby-pamby," and he told me off and he slapped me. And you could get away with being brutal at school in them days. You know, I was always getting a whipping. I was, you know, Tom Brown's school days. Let's roast the little brutes. No, that wasn't my school. That's John Heaton's school.
And believe me, Brown, we've ways of doing it. Deuced unpleasant ways, as you're going to discover.
Bend over. Please, Flash, please. Oh, anyway, listen, don't worry about that. Back to the, where was we? Good Day, Sunshine. I just don't like it. It's a rubbish song. And, you know, I think Paul must have wasted all his talent on Eleanor Rigby because, I mean, the song sucks. It really does.
Ooh, and I suddenly see you. Ooh, did I tell you I need you every single day of my life?
Gotta get you into my life, into my life. You must think I'm taking the piss doing this album, people who really like it, but I can't see why you like it. I really can't, which, you know, you're just going to have to bear with me and go through this with me, because I don't want to talk about it, but I've got to, because it's all part of the deal, isn't it? So I've got to get you in my life. It's a song. It seems like it's gonna go somewhere, but it just doesn't. You know, it just doesn't hit the mark. It doesn't blend into a good tune. It's sort of like highs and lows, but it don't get anywhere, and it does try hard, but it falls flat on its face. It's about his love for weed, but who gives a fuck? It doesn't make it any better, does it?
I said, who put all those things in your head? Things that make me feel that I'm right.
She said, I know what it's like to be dead. This is a noisy, this is another one people bang on about loads. It's a noisy, messy, acid-tinged dirge, and Revolver heads rave about this, but I say it's bollocks.
When your prized possessions start to weigh you down, look in my direction, I'll be round.
And your bird can sing, do-do-do-do. At last, a decent tune with a killer riff. A shame about the awful lyrics. It's just a private joke about Marianne Faithfull. It's okay, but I never dig it out.
We all live in the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine. We all live in the yellow submarine, the yellow submarine.
All right, Yellow Submarine. Now, Paul wrote this eternal kid's favourite for Ringo, who bangs out a timeless classic. Sure, the song's basic, but it will be loved by youngsters and older people for many years to come. And it's a difficult one to rate, but it's up there. It's, you know, I still listen to it from time to time. I quite like the film as well. So you've got to listen. We all live in a submarine, hey, yellow submarine, hey.
When I wake up early in the morning, lift my head, I'm still yawning when I'm in the middle of a dream.
When I wake up early in the morning. It's not the best song, but this album has got so much crap on it that this weed-soaked anthem makes it to number 3. I haven't really got a lot more to say about it. I used to like it, but I don't really listen to it much anymore.
You want her, you need her, and yet you don't believe her when she says her love is dead. You think she needs you.
For No One is another Jane Asher-inspired song, and although it's not a classic, but it is a hidden gem on an unworthy album, and it's got this, where we all know Alan Civil, whoever he is, whatever he looked like, played the French horn, which is an interesting thing to have put on it. You know, it's a good song. It's a good song. Tomorrow Never Knows, one of the more talked about songs on this album. This gets Revolver heads wanging on about how the album is something kind of a giant leap forward. Sure, it's weird and original, and it's got a killer drum beat, you know, like boom, boom, you know how it goes. It's good like that. It's weird and original, but I always say that this is, you know, it's a rehearsal for Pepper. The drumming's key to the song, though. But I would have liked to have heard the Tibetan monks chanting, as was John's original concept. I don't really ever listen to it, but it's number 2 because it's historically important and there ain't that much other choice.
Eleanor Rigby died in the church and was buried along with her name. Nobody came. Father Mackenzie wiping the dirt from his hands as he walks from the grave.
It's mostly written by Paul and it's accompanied by a string quartet, which was inspired by Bernard Herrmann's Psycho score. Even though George Martin mistakenly called it the North by Northwest, but it's not reeling off by Northwest, definitely Psycho. Like I said, it was the first 45 I ever bought in 1978, 79. It sent shivers up my spine on the first listen. So take note, when you have to listen to a song 20 times to like it, there is something wrong. A true classic like this will kick you between the eyes and suck your brain into a black hole. And there's been thousands of words said about Eleanor Rigby, but it is without a doubt the best song on the album.
It's a 10 out of 10.
Okay, so it's not, as I've said 100 times on this review, I want to get this out of the way. It's painful for me to even talk about it, and I very rarely listen to it. I've got a couple of songs on different discs which I've make my own compilation, so I don't have to listen to all the bullshit on this, but we've got 3 or 4 songs from the album. That's all I need. Anyway, I'm going to give this album a 5 out of 10.